Male hair loss. Oh, I hope it says that I'm not going to lose my hair. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Recently I watched that documentary on Netflix called Our Father. I don't know whether you've seen it, but it's really interesting, quite disturbing, and also a little bit terrifying. And it's basically this documentary about this gynecologist person, this doctor, who gives his sperm to unsuspected women who are going through kind of like the fertility cycle and trying to get pregnant and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, he basically ends up giving his sperm to like over 100 people or something, and all of these people find out that they're related to other people, obviously without knowing their entire life. And it's honestly, it's really shocking. It's so mind-blowing that someone did that and managed to get away with it. And it got me thinking. I was like, am I adopted? Am I someone else's child? So I'm gonna take a DNA test and I'm gonna find out. I want to see if I've got any brothers or sisters or anyone else out there connected to us. It really set my kind of like Truman Show brain off, if you know what I mean. I'm sure we've all gone through that, where you think you're living in like, you know, like a made up place. Just me? Alright, that's fine.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
Who are you talking to?
There has to be other people, it can't just be me. I'm sure it's actually a scientific thing, it's called like the Truman Show complex or something. Some people have it, occasionally. No? Alright, okay, I'm gonna go before I talk about that any further, because you're giving us weird looks. Okay, so I bought the Ancestry DNA plus traits kit, and it was the most expensive one at £94 plus shipping. And apparently with this test, it's going to tell me what ethnicity I am, obviously tracing it back through my life and stuff like that. So that'll be quite interesting. I wonder if I've got like a background in other countries that I didn't even know. I hope so. I hope it's not boring. If I get my results back and all I am is English and white, I'll just be so annoyed. Because that's like the most like just bleh kind of result you can get, isn't it? I want something just exciting and different. And apparently the locations and details are from over 1,500 regions. It's also going to give us some historical information about the timeline of my DNA and potentially how and why your family moved from place to place around the world. And then it also gives you DNA matchups with other people who have taken these tests. So yeah, because I spent more money and got the plus traits kit, it's going to tell me whether I've got any physical traits that I can see or hidden traits like fitness and nutrition levels. So it's going to tell me a whole lot of stuff that I potentially might not know about myself, and I am super excited to find out. So let's open this little kit up, and I assume I'm going to be spitting into a bottle. I will say, by the way, before we get into this video, this isn't a sponsored video. Ancestry DNA hasn't sponsored it or anything like that. Spent all my own money, etc, because I do think that this company and other companies like it do a lot of like sponsorship videos and stuff, but this is not the case with this one. Okay, so it's given us a little activation code which I'm covering just in case it's private. Before you spit, activate your kit online first. I'll do that later. Do not eat, drink, smoke, or chew gum for 30 minutes before giving your saliva sample. Oh, I've just had a little swig of my Coke. And I've vaped. Am I allowed to vape? It doesn't say vaping, it said smoking. Okay, so in this kit we have this little tube thing with this blue liquid stuff, and this. So this box is where I put my saliva sample and put it in the post. I'm just gonna activate my kit online first, just before I start any of this. So I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so I've activated my account. It was relatively easy. They do ask you on the kind of like website thing if they're allowed to keep your samples and store them and all of that kind of stuff, but you can decline it, and I have declined it. I don't want them keeping my DNA just in case they use it and frame us for a murder or something.
You brought this on yourself.
I don't know what they could do. You never know. You have to be cautious on these things. But I have like a little profile online, and I'll show you that at the end and see what it says. But I think now I'm ready just to spit in a tube. And we have our little spit tube here, and this blue stuff is the solution. I think they put that in. I don't think I'd do anything with that. That's just like a cap that sits on the top. Okay, I think my mouth's watered enough. I think I'll just spit in this. Do I have to use the funnel? Bye! They want you to spit a lot. I have to fill spit up to that line. All of that. That's a lot of spit. I'm sorry if this might be a bit weird to you, but this is what I have to do. My spit didn't go down. My spit's dead frothy. Get down. I'm gonna be dehydrated by the time I fill this tube up. Why is my spit so frothy for? I barely even filled anything. Oh yeah, I think I'm done. Okay, so I've spit into that, and now I just attach this solution. Oh, okay, I've put that solution in, and that blue stuff just ran straight into my spit. I think I'm done. Is that all I do? That was very easy. Okay, so I think I just put my little sample in this bag, seal that bag up, and then put it in my little box, and I'll just pop this in the post. Okay, so I'll send my little sample off, and I think it said within 6 to 8 weeks, I should know my results, and I'll tell you what's happened, and if I'm related to anyone, and all that kind of other good stuff. It's exciting, isn't it? I'll see you whenever I see you, and we'll go over my results. So the results are finally in.
Corinna, in travel, British traffic lights are green, amber, and which other colour?
Green.
Red.
It's dramatic, it's very dramatic. And I wasn't actually going to record today, I was going to have a weekend off, but I got an email telling us that my results were in, and there is absolutely no way I could wait another week before I looked at these results. I haven't seen them yet, and I'm very, very excited. One thing I did want to say before we get into the results is obviously it says that it can kind of figure out your ethnicity and trace back your ethnicity through your DNA. And regardless of what my DNA says, I am still clearly very much a very Caucasian person. Even if these results came back and I was somehow 0.5% of an Asian heritage and I had 0.5% Asian in my DNA, I'm not going to go around and say that I'm mixed race or that I'm Asian, because I just think it's ignorant. Technically, I suppose you could be, but looking at us, you can clearly tell I'm a very, very Caucasian person. Just wanted to clear that up straight away. And I had a little bit of a think while I was waiting for these results to come in. And the only thing I can possibly think of that I might be is obviously Scandinavian. I'm definitely expecting some sort of Scandinavian in my DNA, because England, we got invaded by Vikings and they were like attacking each other back in the day, weren't they? Or something like that. So I'm assuming I'm going to have at least one Scandinavian country in my DNA. Another one that I potentially might have is Romanian, and that's from my dad's side of the family. So I think, if I'm right, part of my dad's side of the family stems from Romania or that kind of part of the world. But I could also be completely wrong, and they could have told us something completely different and just lied about things. You just don't know, do you? But anyway, let's get on Ancestry and see what I am. Right, let's have a look. Oh, okay. I've got new DNA matches. Is it second or third cousin? Oh, that's my grandma, so I know her. I have like second and third cousins out there. I don't know whether I should be including this in. I think I should be making this private actually, so I might blur that and bleep certain parts out. But I have a lot of second and third cousins. Some of them I recognise, plus 17,533 more. How do I have that many people related to us? I don't know whether I should be blurring all of this out, because I feel like I shouldn't be sharing this. I have so many second and third cousins, and a lot of them I don't really recognise their names. Fourth and sixth cousins. Oh my god. This is so weird. I recognise some of the names from my mum's side of the family. Oh, this is dead strange, you know. This is very weird. Oh, and I've got distant family as well. Okay, we'll get off the family bit, because I feel like I'm sharing people's personal details, and I don't think I'm allowed to do that. But it hasn't shown us up anything quite like shocking. I don't have any immediate brothers or sisters, so I don't think I'm adopted or anything. Right, let's have a look at my DNA summary. Great news, Anthony. Your results have arrived. Ethnicity breakdown, DNA story, DNA matches. So my ethnicity estimate may include two sorts of results. Results with a black circle indicate distant origins, over 500 and 1,000 years, and results with a little dotty line around it indicate more recent origins, 50 to 300 years ago. So I'm 51% England and northwestern Europe, with the majority of that coming from the Midlands, which I find quite strange because I'm from the northeast, and I think is a lot of my family from the... Well, yeah, we've always been from the northeast. So I guess I originate a lot from the Midlands, a lot of my family. Oh, I'm 30% Scottish. Oh, how exciting. I'm 10% Welsh. I'm 6% Sweden and Denmark. And I'm 3% Norway. Oh, that's a little bit more exciting than I thought it was going to be. I'm glad it's kind of spread, and it's not just like 100% English. To be fair, I live in the northeast of England. So if you don't live in the UK, I actually live closer to Scotland than I do to like London. So I'm very kind of up there. I'm not on the border or anything, but it would take us about 2 hours to drive to Scotland. So 30% Scottish, 10% Welsh, 6% Swedish and Denmark, and 3% Norway. Okay, interesting. Oh, what's this? Select any region in your results to learn more about a place and the people who lived here. So is this where I'm from then? So the Midlands in England, between 1825 and 1875, success and poverty. The British government began to believe that overpopulation contributed to poverty. It recommended emigration for the unemployed to help ease social and economic problems, especially in crowded cities. In the mid-1840s, poor law authorities helped many Midlands families leave. The growing rail network offered affordable, speedy travel and killed off the coaching industry almost overnight. People from the countryside flocked to commercial centres, from skilled workers in the Northamptonshire shoemaking industry to the masses who endured long hours and poor pay in Derbyshire's textile factories and Sheffield's steel and cutlery works. Coventry emerged as the centre of the British cycle trade. That was a lot to say, a lot of words. Okay, so I'm assuming I had a lot of family in 1825 to 1875 who kind of lived in that industry and worked in that industry. Okay. Surprisingly, I didn't get any Romanian, which I was expecting, so I guess I have been lied to. And apparently I shared 20 DNA matches with people from the Midlands in England. Oh, here we go. Look at that map. Oh, Iceland's on there. Why is Iceland highlighted with Norway? What's that one? Is that the Shetland Isles? No, that's Shetland, isn't it? I don't know what's that one. Can I click on them? Oh, I can click on them. So my 3% from Norway is primarily located in the Faroe Islands, Iceland and Norway. So what about my Swedish and Denmark? 6%, but it can range from 0 to 17%. It's very crazy how it can be so specific. Like obviously that little dot there, that's where kind of like my closest family DNA comes from. And the rest of it's just kind of vague. I'm surprised I don't have any Irish. See other regions tested. What's that do? I just want to check Romania, see if anything. I don't even know where Romania is in Europe. Oh, here we go. Romania. Yeah, so I have absolutely no connections in Romania or that kind of area of the world because it tells us that my DNA has been tested against all of these other countries. Yeah, so you can see that it's tested my DNA against all of these countries and the only connections they've found is in this area here. Obviously my people didn't travel very far, did they? Now because I did the plus traits thing, it should also tell us some other stuff. So this is the bit where you can explore the traits that they've tested your DNA for. Welcome to traits. Ever wondered where your freckles come from or why you hate cilantro? We don't say cilantro, we say coriander. Discover clues in your DNA about where these and lots of other traits come from. Also see how they relate to geographical regions in There's far too much reading in this. Also see how they relate to the geographical regions in your DNA results and compare your traits with matches. But first, a quick genetics lesson. Alright, do we really care about any of this? I don't think we do. I just want to know my traits. Okay. Fun information. You can pause all this if you want to read it. It can tell me if I'm an introvert or an extrovert. Obviously I know I'm an introvert, but still. How can it tell if you're an introvert from your DNA? Anthony, your DNA suggests you may be more introverted. How does it know? How would you know that though? How does your DNA tell you that? That's strange. Remembering dreams. I actually remember my dreams very vividly, and sometimes even dreams I've had as a kid, I can still remember what them dreams were. So if this says that I can't remember dreams based on my DNA, it's lying, because I do remember my dreams. How can it even know this though? I didn't know your DNA could do this. Among the least likely to remember your dreams. Lies. Complete lies. I definitely remember my dreams. Least likely, that's no, it's bullshit. You're lying to us. So I didn't get that one right. Endurance and fitness. Oh, I think I'll come up very poorly on this. I don't think so. Anthony, you have some DNA differences that are commonly found in elite endurance athletes. Differences are like similarities. I'm nowhere similar to an elite endurance athlete. So it tests apparently for all of this stuff, which I'm not going to read out because it's a lot, but you can read it if you want to read it. You have some DNA differences that are commonly found. I can't tell whether that means it's the opposite or not. Anyway, let's move on to another one. Oh, this is so much fun. Heart rate recovery. So my DNA suggests your heart rate recovery may be at a quicker rate from exercise. Okay, good to know. I'll start exercising more. Muscle fatigue. Who cares about any of this? Like, muscle fatigue. My muscles may tire at about an average rate. VO2 max. I don't even know what that is. People with DNA like yours may have a higher than average ability to raise VO2 max through regular exercise. VO2 max is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use during intense exercise. Apparently, I'm built, according to this DNA thing, is like a pro athlete. Who'd have thought it? Might change my career. Oh, here, so there's other things as well. Oh my god, it tells us so much. Do I care about any of this? Well, just quickly go through them. So, beta-carotene. I have typical levels of beta-carotene, whatever that is. Omega-3. I have average omega-3 levels. Fantastic. Love that. I'm glad I know that about myself. Vitamin B12. Very typical levels of B12. Love that. Vitamin C. I reckon I'm going to be high on vitamin C. Nope. I'm just typical levels of vitamin C. Vitamin D. I think I'm going to be high on this one. Nope. I'm just average. What about vitamin E? And I'm typical on that one as well. Fitness. We've gone through fitness. Sensory. Alcohol flush. I get quite warm when I have a drink. Your face probably doesn't turn red. Oh, is that what it means? Yeah, my face doesn't turn red once I've had a drink. I thought it meant just like how warm you get when you've had a drink, and I get very warm. Asparagus metabolite. So I probably notice a distinctive smell when you urinate after eating asparagus. Well, I don't eat asparagus because I can't stand asparagus, but good to know that it'll make my pee really smell. Bitter sensitivity. If this says that like I'm average or anything, that's untrue. I really don't like kind of like sour and bitter flavors. Oh, here we go. Tells us you might be extra sensitive to certain bitter tastes. I am. I hate sour and bitter flavored things. I'm very sensitive to it, according to my DNA results, and that's very true. Caffeine consumption. I do consume quite a bit of caffeine. I might drink more caffeine than average. I'm not surprised. This is a big test. It says coriander aversion. So whether you hate coriander or not, and I can't stand coriander. I think it's awful. So let's see what it says. You probably like the taste of fresh coriander. Lies. Complete lies. You're wrong. I don't like it. Lactose intolerance. I'm not lactose intolerant, but I don't drink a lot of milk. I don't have any trouble with dairy, no. I used to when I was a kid, but I don't anymore. My savory umami sensitivity. I'm less sensitive to umami or savory flavors. Fantastic. I'm so happy I know that. Sun sneezing. What's sun sneezing? Do people sneeze when they're in the sun? I might sneeze when I'm exposed to bright light. Is that a thing? To be fair, when we have a lot of sun in the UK, I'm usually sneezing because the pollen levels are high. I don't know whether it's anything to do with the light. Sweet sensitivity. I have got a sweet tooth. I do like my sweet flavors. I'm more sensitive to sweets. I'm not surprised at all. I do like sweets. And what else? Oh god, it tells us so much. I'm quite shocked. This video might be so long. Okay, so the appearance it's given us. Birth weight. I think I was quite a fat child, like a fat baby when I was born, and I was a very fat child growing up. So let's see if it knows that I was quite big. Oh, I was just an average size newborn. I'm pretty sure I was quite large. I don't think I was average. Cleft chin. Is that like your little dimple? I don't know, because I haven't seen my chin in years because of my beard. I feel like I've got a little one. I don't have a cleft chin. Alright, I don't have one. I can't tell. Well, I mustn't have one because it tells us I don't have one. Earlobe type. I assume my earlobes are normal. I have attached earlobes. Well, everyone's earlobes are attached to the face, aren't they? And everyone's earlobes like that. Like attached to the... I suppose some people might not have attached earlobes. They might be like loose and dangly. Okay, well, I've got attached earlobes, right? They are in fact attached to my face. Earwax type. I went through a whole journey with my ears, so I know my ears are super duper clean. I have wet earwax. I'm not going to get into my earwax type or what I rake out my ears, but I assume you could describe it as wet. Eye colour. Well, I have blue eyes, so I wonder if it's determined if I do have blue eyes. Like, I'll show you. I don't know whether you can see my eyes. I have very blue eyes. Oh, it just says that I have light eyes. Yeah, I do have light eyes, you're correct. Strangely enough, my mum, she has blue eyes, but my dad and my brother, they both have brown eyes. Weird, isn't it? Facial hair thickness. Even when I do have a beard and I have a moustache, the reason I don't grow a full beard is because this bit is so patchy and thin. I reckon I have quite thin facial hair. I have less thick facial hair, yeah. I definitely don't have thick facial hair. I think I've actually got a bald spot appearing in my beard somewhere as well. But just ignore that. Finger length. I would say my fingers are quite short and my hands are quite short. My index pointer finger may be longer. Yeah, it's definitely longer. Okay, great. I'm glad they got that right. Freckles. I have a few freckles. My brother is covered in freckles and my mum's covered in freckles, but my dad doesn't have a lot of freckles. I don't know how that works. Like, a lot of my family members are very freckly. I'm talking head to toe freckles. You probably have freckles. Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone has freckles, don't they? Hair colour. I used to have very light hair growing up, and then it went really dark. I have DNA for lighter hair. I used to, but my hair's very, very dark now. Obviously, it looks light now, but that's just the bleach. Hair strand thickness. Now, my hair is incredibly thick. It's very, very thick. So I'm hoping to get that right. Average thickness. Oh, well, that's the individual hairs. Yeah, I would describe my hair as, my individual hairs as average. But then it has hair type, and my hair type is very thick, and if I don't straighten the shit out of it, it's quite wavy. Naturally straight, no I don't. I definitely don't have naturally straight hair. It is very, very curly and wavy. Iris pattern. I don't know what my iris pattern is. Furrow and rings. Oh, here it tells you. So they're the rings, these bits, and they're the furrows. Don't totally understand that, but good to know, I suppose. Male hair loss. Oh, I hope it says that I'm not going to lose my hair. I have a low chance of hair loss. Oh, you've made my day. Skin pigmentation. Well, my skin is very, very pasty, very, very white, so let's see what it says about this. I have a light to medium skin tone. Yeah, I would say that's accurate. I don't think I would describe my skin tone as medium. I think it's much more on the lighter side. But my dad, strangely enough, I would say he has more of a medium skin tone. My college tutor used to think he was from like Italy or somewhere, or from like the Middle East. And I was like, nope, he's not. Unibrow. My eyebrows grow like crazy. That's why I have to like shear them and attack them so they don't attach to my hairline and attach in the middle. So I definitely think I've got the unibrow trait. I don't have a unibrow. No, I don't. Because I tweeze it. And wisdom teeth. I've never had any wisdom teeth come through, so I'm assuming it's going to say no. You might not have developed all your wisdom teeth. No, I don't. I do not. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for this little DNA test. I actually found it really interesting. I think it was very interesting seeing where your DNA comes from within the world. I thought that was super cool. The traits aspect of it, I don't know, like some of the stuff they say, does anyone actually care? Beta carotene or whatever, or your omega-3 levels and stuff like that, and also your exercise and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't interest me, and I don't think they got a few of them things right either. But I think I'll explore this further, obviously off camera, and look at kind of more of the family aspect of it and my connections with kind of second and third cousins, because I've got quite a lot of them, you know. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know if you've ever done one of these DNA kits and what it said about you and whether you were quite shocked about the results. But if you haven't, I would recommend trying it at some point. I think it's really, really interesting. But anyway, I'll see you next week for a brand new video. I'm part Viking, and that is exciting. Oh, that rhymed. Oh, great.